Chiron in the first house is all about the courage to be yourself, the willingness to put yourself out there, and about the freedom of authenticity. Chiron in the first house is about not being afraid and embracing the parts of you that are human, to be secure in your body, to be secure in your skin, to be secure in all that you have going on around you in your life, of all that you have going for you in your life when it comes to really being yourself unapologetically, not seeking external validation to define your worth. In this video, in this very, very in-depth video, I'm going to be discussing this placement in depth. Now, this video might be the most, or one of the most profound videos on astrology I've ever done. Because I looked at my chart, found this out some time ago. I have Chiron in the first house. And so, I have it in the first house. And in this video, this may be a very, very long video. This may be a very, very long video, but I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to be going deep with this placement. This is no surface level interpretation. This is a deep interpretation. So, settle in. Grab something to drink. Grab something that you can, because I'm having to settle myself because I'm just so excited right now. I'm just so, it's like I'm going to calm myself down and give myself as much time as I want to at this. Because what I'm about to discuss with you is so profound. I mean, I was reading about this placement and I was like, wow. Just wow. All this is so validating to me of what I have healed, of what I'm trying to heal. And I feel like I've healed so much of this, of what it's talking about, without even knowing what it was about. And I'm just, finding out about this right now in my life. I find that just very, very, amazing that I recently came across this and did it. And, did it, invested my mental energy into it. Because, it was so accurate. And so many things rang true. And so I'm going to discuss these things as I go through. Take my time. So, let us begin. The theme with Chiron in the first house, the big overlying theme, is there is wounds when it comes to you and your identity, who you are. Your sense of self and your sense of self-worth. Now, I am an Aries sun. I have Jupiter in Virgo. I have the North Node in Taurus. I have this placement. I mean, wow. Wow. This placement is like the cherry on top of the sundae. I mean, it just pieces it all together. Huge reason why I was so enthusiastic about my Jupiter and Virgo placement. About criticism. Why I did the why I don't like Virgo energy, why I talk about living from the inside out, not the outside in, why I do my Real Me podcast, where I'm being my authentic self. I mean, this explains so much of me in my life. And thank goodness I have this podcast on Spotify, and it would be, like my intuition was telling me to do this video. And I listened to it. And, I can't believe I didn't look into it before, because, wow, am I amazed. And I'm going to be delving into it in this video of what it's about and kind of revealing things to you as I go through. So, wounds around your identity, your sense of self, and your sense of self-worth, you feeling good about yourself, you being worthy of yourself. That's self-worth. So, wounds around your being valuable. You know, away from, I'm probably going to be repeating a lot of things in this video. Away from external achievements, away from needing others' validation, which is going to be a big theme, or anything externally going on. Okay. So, yeah, all these themes of self-worth. I mean, it just ties it all together. It's just, I'm speechless. I'm honestly, like, I've never been speechless about an astrology placement before. I've never been this stunned and amazed before. I just cannot get over it. So anyway, wounds around identity, self, and self-worth. That's what it is about. Now, you know, they may have trouble getting things started in their life. You know, they may have trouble, you know, getting things off the ground. You know, that's one way of looking at it. You know, it may have a lot of trouble, you know, initiating certain things. You know, which is very first house energy, like you're starting things. You know, it's a difficulty with all this. I'm going to get into the reasons why as I go through here, but difficulty initiating things. You may rush into things. Just need to, you know, run through it. I mean, I have my South Node in Scorpio, so I am already very, very compulsive with rushing into things and going all intense into things. And I mean, I've already brought up my North Node a lot, and you're probably going to hear me bring up this placement a lot in my videos. Yeah. So, you know, rushing doing things. You know, rushing into things. Not taking your time. And this hesitation with doing things. Not really, you know, like feeling afraid to take risks, feeling afraid to act, you know, feeling afraid to make things happen. You know, there's this kind of feeling. Now, the very, very big thing with this placement is feeling self-conscious. This is huge. Feeling self-conscious. Now, I want to talk to those who have this placement. And I want to do this in a very, very compassionate, gentle way and loving way. I mean, there's this one person on YouTube who makes all this content about authenticity. And being yourself and healing your wounds and, you know, healing, I mean, and she didn't do a video on this. And I'm like, talk about the obvious thing to do a video on. Talk about the obvious thing, which is what we're all about. The fact that you didn't go into depth about Chiron through the houses and everything like that. All about Chiron. It just amazes me. It just amazes me. Well, I'm going to pick off where she left off, and I'm going to be myself. I'm reminding myself a lot of her right now, but I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to deliver this message in a real, genuine way. So, there's this feeling of being uncomfortable with yourself. Feeling like you're being judged. Like you're being seen. Like you're being noticed from the outside world. It's a self-conscious feeling where you feel like everyone is watching you. Everyone is seeing you. And it deals with your appearance. You know, how you present yourself, your appearance, all that. That's what self-consciousness is. Feeling like one is judged by their appearance. You know, their physical appearance. Like there's a lot of shame with this placement around your body. Like for example, I look at myself in the mirror, or I used to when I was little, and I was like, what is this, kind of weird person? like seeing myself feels very, very strange, but I am a living embodiment of somebody who has healed their Chiron in the first house. And I want to do exactly what I am literally talking about in this video. And I am doing my Chiron in the first house by doing this video alone. I just cannot. Looking at, being judged by one's, appearance and actions. Feeling like that, very, very insecure about their body. I'm going to get into more of that later. Kind of pacing myself as I go through here because I don't want to get ahead of myself. Now, they can lean into feeling shy about themselves. Feeling very, very insecure about themselves. Feeling very, very uncomfortable about themselves. They're afraid to be seen with who they are. They're afraid to be who they are. Who they genuinely are. Just imagine being afraid to be seen. Being afraid to be who you are. Imagine how that would feel. If you can. I'm not expecting you to, because you can't just sit and, imagine and empathize with something. But if you can, then do so. If you don't, then just relax into it. Don't try to empathize in your mind. Like, relax into it. Sit with it. If you feel it, great. If you don't, not. Like, don't expect yourself to empathize and fully feel into what I'm saying here. Because you can't. Because not everybody empathizes with the same things. And that's just the reality. So, they're afraid to be seen for who they really are. There is this inherent wound that you are not good enough. That you're not good enough. Throughout my whole life, I have judged myself with things. Perfectionism. My song videos were not good enough. Being my creative self. I have two very, very supportive parents in my life that are very, very supportive of my Chiron in the first house. And I'm very, very fortunate to have them. To have parents that have been very, very supportive of me expressing myself and my creativity and all that. And I think that they understand my Chiron without even knowing what it's about. Not feeling good enough, not feeling like you are worthy enough of being who you are. Like you're flawed, like you're too this, you're too much, you're not pretty enough, you're not brave enough, you're not smart enough, you're not clever enough, you're not this enough. I mean, there's all these examples. Not feeling good enough in others' eyes. Like feeling like others don't think that you're a good enough person, a worthy human being. That's sad to live a life like that. And they are learning self-acceptance. For those watching of Chiron in the first house, this is your life lesson. You are learning to accept yourself just as you are. And as I go through this, I'm going to peel back some layers for you so you can see this. So you're learning self-acceptance, like you're learning to accept yourself as you are without trying to change yourself, without trying to make yourself flaw, getting caught in your flaws and all that. Now, you're learning, you're learning to value yourself. You're learning to value yourself. Knowing that you are worthy of love, of care, regardless of what the outside world thinks of you. Okay. So, that already explains a lot. But there's more. There is more. And self-expression. Having the courage to express yourself through words, through music, through acting, through dancing, through speaking, through writing, through all these things. Expressing yourself. You may have sacrificed yourself in relationships. You may have easily done this. Where you focus only on what others' needs are. Others' values. Others' wants. Others' desires. Catering to others. It's all about others. Where you are turning on yourself and going introspective and becoming all judgmental, like I'm not doing enough for the other kind of thing. Doesn't this sound like Virgo energy? Doesn't this sound like the Virgo South Node? If you're familiar with that. I mean, this sounds like so many things I've talked about, but this I haven't talked about. And I'm just doing this now. I'm just amazed at this. You continually repeat this pattern of talking to yourself, negative self-talk, all this mean internal dialogue that you have to yourself. All these judgmental things like you should have done it this way, you should have done it that way, you're not good enough, you could have done it that way, you're just not enough. Like all this self-talk. All this very, very intense and very negative and cruel self-talk. In this life, you are learning to be who you are unapologetically, to be your authentic self unapologetically. You should not be afraid to embrace yourself. And, when people say be authentic, You can't just say that. And if I have said that, then I will claim that. And I will be accountable for when I say that, because you can't just, it's like, just be happy. Just put a smile on your face. Just snap out of it. It takes work, and it takes time, and it takes courage to step into being authentic. You can't just be authentic if you're so wounded and you're so familiar with, like if you feel like you'll be judged, and, you don't feel secure about being yourself because you'll be criticized. You'll be rejected. You'll be frowned upon by others. It's hard, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to be your authentic self, unapologetically. Being yourself without shame or apology is a big thing. Being yourself without feeling shame with yourself. Feeling shame about yourself. Or just not feeling good about yourself. I'm feeling like you are wrong. It's basically shame. Or apologizing for yourself. Like over apologizing for who you are. I'm sorry, I'm not this enough. I'm sorry, I'm not that enough. I'm sorry if I said this. You express yourself authentically, and then you just shut it down by apologizing. Stop apologizing. Get out of the habit and the temptation to apologize, because this holds you back from being your true self. There may be wounds around your very existence that you may have been born in with. Like, why am I even here? Why do I even exist? What is my purpose? What is my destiny? How can I, feeling like you are not a good person. Inherently feeling like you are a bad, flawed, wrong person. That's the wound. That is the wound. It's feeling like you are a bad person. Feeling like you are unworthy of being human. Your self-image, the way that you see yourself, there's wounds around that. And authentic self-expression. Feeling like something is wrong with you. Like there's just something wrong with you that you're not able to name. The lesson in this life is to be seen as you truly are. To take up space fully. And to let others come to you. Let others draw attention to who you are. That's what it comes down to. So, the freedom to take up space. Just allowing yourself to take up space in this life. And this flaw that you feel like you're broken. It's like you have to understand with this placement, you are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You're perfect just as you are. You are beautiful and smart and worthy and good enough just as you are. Know that. Like if you suffer from this wound, know that. Feeling like you can't fix the flaw. Feeling like it's a flaw that cannot be remedied. Could not be changed. Could not be made better. There is this belief that you cannot be yourself. Like it is unsafe, it is dangerous to be yourself. And if you do, then you'll be rejected or judged by others. Feeling like you have to constantly put a filter around yourself. manage your behavior and the way that you act and what you say, because you feel like if you were to be your authentic self, your true self, it's like, it's, as I said, dangerous. It's not safe. It's not okay to be yourself. There's this belief that it's not okay to be yourself. And maybe you've been conditioned into it by family. Maybe these wounds from family has come about that, about being who you are, being your true self. Displacement is most certainly inside out, living from the inside out. And this just confirms it to the core, all that I've been talking about with authenticity. It just validates it so much. So putting a filter on yourself. You may become very, very highly attuned to how others see you, becoming very, very consumed with how others see you, with how others look at you. Like, this is so true. You're attuned to how others see you and perceive you. And you tend to want to show others what they want to see from you. You tend to cater to others and show them what they want because you want to feel accepted. You want to feel worthy. You want to feel good with others. So you try to prove to them by agreeing, by going along with them, by just following their orders, by living their life, by living their values, by marching to the beat of their drum and not yours. Showing others what they want to see, not who you really are. Not who you really are. Instead, you hide yourself away and you don't show others who you really are. They may not be aligned with themselves. Like in this life, they are working on the wound of their identity. The wound of their identity. They're working on aligning themselves with their likes. What they like with, things that they like. What they value. They're learning to, align themselves with that. They're learning to align themselves and work on what they desire. Getting in touch with what they desire. Getting in touch with what they want. What they want to do, what their identity is like, how they want to be themselves, what they want to put out into the world, what they want to do in the world. And to add on to this, I have Chiron and Capricorn, so that just makes doing what I do out in the world and self-respect and recognition and worthiness of achievement, that adds a whole nother layer to this. But desire because they have prioritized what others needed and expected from them. Not what they needed. Not what they expect for themselves. But they're getting so caught up in what others expect from them. They criticize themselves. Oh my gosh, can I relate to this? Over 3 years of my life, I have been in a cycle of regret and self-criticism. You should have done this differently. You're not a good person. You're not okay. You're not content. You're not abundant. You're not secure. You're not safe. You're not, you're flawed. You messed up. You did the wrong thing. I criticize myself for deleting videos. And if you want to know more about my story, I have a podcast in my Real Me podcast over on my YouTube channel called The Wound of Deleting. I think that this Real Me podcast, basically, this is going on the vastness of Google, but that Real Me podcast, I started for a reason, and this just confirms it. This just confirms it, and I will keep doing that till the cows come home. So, criticizing myself for deleting videos, criticizing myself for channel surfing. I mean, these things that seem to ruin my contentment and abundance with life. They may pay very, very close attention to their own behavior, how they appear and present themselves, because you feel like you're wrong. There's something wrong inside you. Like that's how you feel. You may feel uncomfortable with your body image. You may feel very, very self-conscious about being judged by your body. Like being shamed for your body. Feeling very, very insecure with your body. With your physical body. Now, I cannot relate to this per se because I'm very, very secure in my body. I guess I have my own bodily issues. I'm very, very secure in my own skin when it comes to my body. But that is a trait with those who have this placement, is that there is a potential to be, shaming your own body. Now feeling, there is this afraid of being seen by the outside world. Afraid of being noticed, afraid of being looked at for who you are. There's this deep fear of displacement with that. And it can trigger deep shame and anxiety about yourself. It can give you anxiety. Give you a lot of anxiety about yourself in your life. A lot of just fear of being seen, and struggling to maintain eye contact. I mean, I definitely relate to this because I have had problems in the past looking at people directly in the eye and even looking at myself. Like, I watch my videos and I can't even look at the camera. I can't even look at myself because I'm just so uncomfortable looking at myself. Like, there is still this discomfort that I have with looking at myself in the mirror. With seeing myself. It's like this uncomfortable feeling. Hearing myself is perfectly fine, but seeing myself. Like, why do I have glasses? Like, I wear glasses because I need to wear glasses. I wore them since I was a baby. I've worn glasses since I was a baby. Something I did not mention in my Real Me podcast about myself, which is huge, because I have nystagmus in my eyes, a condition, where your eyes constantly move and it's hard to focus, and I need to constantly have things up close because I can't see things at a distance. Like, having glasses, having, brown hair, just my physical appearance alone, my face alone, it's like a part of me is uncomfortable with looking at that. But I'm putting myself out there now, and so obviously I would be comfortable with that enough. So, alright, so moving on. Now, one of the things with this placement is they may be so concerned with physical health. They may, exercise and do all these, regimens with physical health because they're trying to fit into a certain standard of beauty, a standard of being fit in a certain way, a standard of being, their body being in the right condition to be out there. And I should say that in the society today, it's not conducive to these people enough because it's, conditions people to be a certain way, have a certain body image, like you see in the newspapers. You see the women who are so physically fit and and very, very well put together, very, very thin. They don't eat a lot of, they exercise very, very well. Like, they look perfect. There's this perfect image. And you cannot compare yourself to these models. And this placement gets caught in comparing itself to others. Comparing itself to others with what they do. And not looking to themselves, but, there is this kind of feeling here, I guess you could say. But that's not really the main kind of meaty information in this placement. So they're wanting to accept their body as it is, without trying to work so hard. Like, you don't need to exercise so hard and change your body, because there's this deep insecurity about not being good enough in your body, being too fat, of being underweight, of being overweight, of your face and your pimples and your whatever, like, all these things, and you just so consumed with your physical health that you become obsessed with it, and you continue to work out in that way. So this life is about taking off those masks that you put up around yourself to be perfect, to be this perfect person, to be someone who others will accept and like. Taking off these masks and the personas. The personas. Your social masks. That's not who you really are. That's not your true self. Like, with the persona is you putting on this image of yourself not being your true self. Okay. All right. So personas. So it's about taking off these masks and these personas that you put around yourself because you're afraid of yourself. You're afraid of putting yourself out there. That you protect yourself. You protect yourself from being your true self. I mean, if you have Chiron in the first house, I am here for you. Okay? I am here for you, and I am holding space for you. And I love you. I love you, and I accept you as you are. And I am somebody who has this placement, who is, inspiring you to heal yourself. So, all right. So, putting this around yourself. You may be in an environment where it's just unsafe to be yourself. It's just unsafe to be your authentic self. And I don't want to get into a whole conversation about being, your authentic self and what that means here. That is, I don't want to get, in that. But, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Just being yourself, who you are, unapologetically. So healing this this wound of being seen, accepting yourself. This wound. Like, don't hold this wound in. Don't repress the wound. Don't, the thing about wounds is that we can't, repress them. It's not about healing them. It's about learning to integrate them. It's about learning to live life with them. Embrace the wounds as a part of who you are. Embrace these wounds. Accept the wounds as they are and heal them in ways that don't deny them or disown them, because you'll never probably get rid of that wound, but you can heal it. You can heal the pain of that wound. And that's what's important to note. So, this healing can come through therapy or other support. Like, talk about it. Like, voice it. Be verbal about it. Like, I'm having this wound around myself, my self-identity, and my authentic self and my self-expression. Be verbal about it. Speak to it. Don't just keep it repressed. Name it and claim it. Don't be afraid to name the wound and claim the wound, because when you do it, you bring it to conscious light. You bring it into consciousness. That's what happens. You make it conscious. It's not hidden away anymore. You've now liberated yourself and empowered yourself from that wound because you've spoken about it. Like, I have a repetitive voice that curses in my head every now and then, and I say the words out loud. I say the curse words out loud in the cadence that it says in my head, and I name it and I claim it. And the last time I had it, with the situation that was going on, I could manage it better. I'm not saying that that was the reason for it, but I've learned to manage it better. You can learn to manage your wounds better. Like, we learn to manage our wounds better as we go through life. So, all right. So it's very, very important for these individuals to draw boundaries. Well, like I say, this is my healthy boundary, and I should mention there is a song coming out on my channel that if you have Chiron in the first house, I want you to tune in this song. It premieres Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Central Time. And the song is basically saying that I am being my true self without external opinions or without comments and without people judging me online, without getting sucked into what people think and their judgments and their negativity. Drawing a healthy boundary. That's what I emphasize in the song, and I want you to hear that song as an embodiment of somebody who is unafraid to be themselves. Like, I have my Aries Sun energy. Thank goodness I have that, because that helps me to be my uninhibited self. My Aries Sun. And thank goodness for that. That's a huge factor, and that's one of my favorite placements in my birth chart is my Sun in Aries. So drawing boundaries to the people and environments that don't support you being your authentic self. If there's any environment in your life where you're like, I can't be my true self in this environment. I can't fit in, I don't fit into this box that they want me to fit in with. Then draw the boundaries and say, no, I'm going to not, you have the freedom to do this, okay? You're not bound by this environment. You can literally say, I'm not going to choose to put myself in this environment, in this situation where I feel like I can't be myself. Like, it's about slowly having the courage to draw those boundaries with others in these environments. It's about having the courage to do this. Having, the willingness to do this. Finding the power within yourself to do this. This is about allowing yourself to be seen by others, to be seen by the outside world, and not letting external judgments or criticism deter you from being yourself. And that's the part that I want to get into later. I'm going to get into a shadow with this placement that I was reading about that's very, very important to address. But it doesn't go off the point that I was making. Like, I'm not telling you to be conscious of yourself because you can be too much and too confident or too whatever for no reason. I'm going to get into that later on in this video. But allowing yourself to be perceived by others. Allowing yourself to, release the control of how you are looked at and allow others to see you for who you are. To not, let the judgments get the better of who you want to be and, taking those judgments and considering them, not being defensive. And then with that judgment, who do you want to be? Because of this judgment. Who do you want to be? Because this person said that I'm getting ahead of myself here. Oh, well, I'm just going to give myself full permission to do this. I'm just going to jump right to this point. Being with people who really get you. And if they give judgments or criticism, it's because they care and value you as an authentic self, and they want you to be your authentic self, the best version of yourself. And so they give these judgments and these criticisms as kind criticism, like they mean well. They're not trying to attack you by this criticism. Understand this. They're not trying to attack you. They're trying to help you with, what they're saying. Like see and be with those who really value yourself. You really value yourself. Really value who you are. And, and I'll probably talk about that later, like releasing control of how you are looked at. And if you feel like someone really knew who you were and your likes and your values and whatever, then you'd be, lonely on an island. Like you wouldn't have anyone with you. You wouldn't have anyone that would want to be with you. They'd want to hang out with you. That would want to get to know you. You would feel very, very lonely if that were the case. Very, very lonely. And there's this lonely feeling of this that comes in with this. It's feeling lonely. That you'll be alone if somebody really knew you and knew what you like. You're afraid that your interests and your talents will be judged and rejected. Now in this life, it's about having gradual exposures, gradually exposing yourself little by little to be seen. This is what this is about, is gradually exposing yourself. Okay, this is, I'm doing this in the evening, and this is going to take as long as it's going to take. I'm taking my time with this. Yeah. So, it is what it will be. I felt the inspiration to do this, and I'm going to do this the way that I want to do this. So, I'm not going to let the outside dictate that. Hence this placement, hence exactly what I'm talking about. So, with that, I'm going to continue. So, it's about exposing yourself. It's about being willing to put yourself out there and be seen. By willing to form your own opinions about things. Like being willing to disagree. That can be the case, like afraid of disagreeing with others. Afraid of causing disharmony with others. Like, not being afraid to disagree and have your own opinions and have your own ideas of things that make up who you are. Not being afraid to speak up. Not being afraid to speak up. And, speak your truth and be yourself. So making eye contact. Like not being afraid to just make eye contact with the person. Like make eye contact. Drop into your heart, first of all. Soften into this place. Trust that they mean well. Trust that they are a good person. And choose to be with those who are good people. Not those who drain you or who make you feel small and overwhelmed and uncomfortable and overpowered and less than, not a good person, but are those who really make you feel better. Make you feel like a good person. Like you are a good person, like you are a worthy person. So, this is about revealing yourself to others and being with those who accept you as you are. This is what this is about. Being with those who accept you as you are. Don't judge you or want to change you or want to criticize you, want to mold you into the person that they want you to be and not who you want to be. Like, you don't have to go along with their perfect image of who they want you to be. That's them projecting onto you. That's them saying, I'm judging you, and basically I want you to fulfill this image that I want you to, that I want you to fulfill this image that I want you to fulfill. That it's my image of you. It's not your image. So you see where I'm coming along. You don't have to fit in their box. You don't have to go along with their wanting from you when it comes to this. Because that's their idea. You don't have the same idea, probably. Most likely. Okay, I'm rushing this. I'm rushing it. I'm not going to rush it. Yeah. Stop trying to cater and please everyone with their idea of who you think you should be. And focus on yourself this way. So being known for being who you are, your genuine self, your authentic self, can change. By doing this, you can change this whole programming that you have, and retrain this whole shame programming. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm wrong. I'm this and that. Programming this shame. So, this is also about being vulnerable. Like, there is strength in being vulnerable. Vulnerability is a strength. Allowing yourself to be seen and fully, express yourself with what is going on in your life unapologetically, to give yourself the space to speak to what is going on emotionally, what is going on physically, what is going on mentally, what the problems that are going on in your life. Not being afraid to speak to all those problems. Don't hold it in. Like, it's not about, you feel like there's this shame. Like, I can't say this because otherwise I would be rejected. Otherwise I would be judged. But it's okay to be honest and transparent with people. It's okay to speak to these things that are going on in your life, mentally and emotionally. And then permission to make mistakes. Permission to, because we all make mistakes. Every one of us walking around makes some kind of mistake. Nobody's perfect. We're all human, and this is about being human. Like it's okay to be human. We're human. We do things wrong. We have flaws. We can't just be perfect all the time. And mistakes are going to happen. Don't shame or push down or deny the mistake. Just acknowledge it and choose to learn from it and just accept yourself. Like, okay, I made a mistake. Don't judge yourself like you shouldn't have done this and you shouldn't have done that. Like, acknowledge that I made this mistake because I did the best that I could at the time. And I didn't know this thing. Like, we make mistakes because we don't know that it's a mistake. We don't know that it's wrong. That we don't know that it's that we shouldn't have done it. That it will cost us something. That it will put us in a bad situation. That will, So, that's why, we make mistakes, is because we don't know. Like, have compassion that you don't have to know how to operate your life completely. Like, you will make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. So you will do that. And then, being human is the other thing. They're also learning that their identity doesn't have to stay the same. And when I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, wow. Does this resonate? What I'm going to tell you, as a human being, you will not be the same person all throughout your life. You will change. You will grow. You will evolve. You'll become a different version of yourself as you go through life. Things will change. You'll have different interests. You'll have different goals. You'll have different ways of doing things. Like it's all okay. You're not meant to stay the same all throughout your life. You're meant to change. You're meant to grow from who you were before. You're meant to be a different person. Like nobody comes in on this planet and is the same person from birth to death. like that's not the human experience. The human experience is, being born and going throughout your life and having all these experiences that make you grow as a soul and have all these meaningful experiences that help you to become a better person, a better version of yourself on your soul's journey in this particular life. It's meant to be imperfect. Like, you are not meant to be perfect. You are meant to be imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. I just want to say that. Perfectly imperfect. I have to redefine perfect and say perfectly imperfect. Flawsome. Like, awesome with flaws. Flaws make up the beauty of who we are as humans. So, now, with this placement, you can heal yourself and teach others to heal themselves also. This is the gift of this placement. Like, when you do the inner work to heal yourself and your authentic self, you can become a therapist. You can become a life coach, where you are empowering others and inspiring others and teaching them to be their authentic self because you did that work. Like that's what you can do. So being in roles where you help people who struggle with shame and their identities with being their authentic self, like that. So in this life, you're learning to take up space without shame, to be visible without the fear of being judged for your image, for your being seen. without the fear of being judged for being seen, and to go along with what truly, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this very, very profound question. You can sit with this if you so desire. What truly, and I invite you to sit with this, I invite you to really, consider this, is what truly makes you happy? What truly brings you joy? Not others, opinions or others' values or what others bring you joy. Like, you're not here to live a life for others and, do what others want you to do when it comes to going against your values and what you want to do and what genuinely brings you joy in this life. Going about what truly matters to you in life, regardless of what other people think of you. But not caring what other people think of you. That's what that song is about. And I set it to premiere because I wanted as many people to tune into it as possible. I wasn't just going to publish it because I'm in the middle of publishing a lot of videos right now. I want to make it planned so that you see it in advance so that people can tune into it and really hear that message of what I have to say. I want to make it big and I want to make it an important message. And it felt so empowering to do that song because it's like I'm stepping into my own. I'm being brave. I'm being authentic. So, and so when you are authentic, people are going to be around you and they're going to feel more relaxed and authentic in your presence when you heal your own wound. This can shape others to be their authentic self. Like, you make people feel more relaxed. Like, this is somebody who, like, I've been there. I've struggled with being myself and being in my identity. And it's like, you can talk to me. I get it. I get these struggles. I'm understanding and all that. So this is about acknowledging both your gifts and limitations. Acknowledging all the parts of you, what you're good at. Your gifts, whatever they are. Could be, painting or, in my case, making videos and speaking and communicating. Limitations, like acknowledging your limitations. Because, you are a limited being. We are not infinite beings. We have our limitations as humans. And it's okay. That's part of being human, is that we have limitations built into us. And it's okay to accept those things. And live like that. And so there is beauty and imperfection in things that's part of this. Feeling confident within yourself and also not having confidence. Like, it's okay to believe in yourself and not believe in yourself at the same time. Like, you're going to have moments where you're not always going to believe in yourself, and that's just the reality of life. So, you have the right to exist. I just want to tell you that from my heart. You have the right to exist in this life, to be valued, to be human, to make mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to hide yourself away. Keep yourself from being seen because you feel like you're imperfect. And when you are your authentic self, notice how much more free you are. Notice how liberating it is to be your true self. There's a lot of freedom when it comes to being your authentic self. You're going to find that. The result is freedom. You're not chained and tied down to what others want from you, what others expect from you. Agreeing with others, living a life, for others. You're doing it for yourself, and that can be so liberating. So liberating. And you may present yourself. Now, there was another aspect of this placement that I want to discuss, and that is putting on this image of confidence, a feeling of faking it, of trying to cover up your insecurity, of trying to cover up your shame by being very, very vain and being very, very self-centered, and you do this to try to prove to yourself that you are worthy of being yourself. That you are your authentic self, but you don't drop in. You don't relax into the security of yourself to say, I'm secure within myself, and I can relax into myself, and I can deliver from a calm, authentic place, a grounded place of being calm within myself, and being who I am. And being, all vain and, putting on these, masks is not who you are. It's just not. So, also, there is this narcissistic quality that you can get caught up in. Being a narcissist, being someone who cares, only about themselves and, their image, and needs other, and I was talking about Adolf Hitler today and how he was a narcissist. So I'm going to look up, you feel like it is just out of proportion. Like how you value yourself and think highly of yourself is just so out of proportion. There's a deep insecurity with narcissism. That you're not good enough. That you're not worthy enough. That you're not, valuable enough. That you can't have good relationships. That you can't have a good life. That you can't have a good career. Like all these wounds is why there are narcissists in the world that abuse their power, is because of this insecure feeling that they feel that they're not integrating this within themselves. They're not working on this within themselves. Like, you are here to do the inner work with yourself with this. So you may find yourself becoming this. And it's good to be aware of when you do become this. A deep need for, with this, I don't think that you are a bad person. I don't think that you are not an empathetic person and not a caring person. I think that you're very, very caring. When you try to act all vain and big and loud and cover up yourself, you cover up the authentic part of you that is caring, that is empathetic, that does value others as well as yourself, that does value, relationships, that does have a heart, that does have kindness. Like you can, cover up that part of yourself as well with this. Being boldly themselves while trying to cover up all of your flaws that you have. All the flaws, like trying to cover up all the mistakes. Like, I'm trying to be this perfect person, and like denying and not working with yourself and projecting on others, and denying your flaws by claiming, I am so good, I am so excellent, I am so great, I am perfect. Like, and through this, you are denying your flaws. Like, it's not about denying your flaws. It's not about judging them either. Like, it's not about pushing away those flaws and how you feel about them. Because that's not healthy. And so when you are this way, you push down your flaws. Like, you think you're, being yourself and healing yourself. Well, you're not, because you're not acknowledging and working through with your flaws and what they are. There's this constant need for external validation that you have, this constant need to be validated by the outside world. There's this this kind of quality. And I'm going to jump to this later, where you become very, very defensive. Where you're sensitive to others' criticism, sensitive to others' critiques, when really they're meant with kindness. Again, be with others who really get you, who criticize you, quote unquote, criticize you, and judge you because they care about you and they want you to be yourself. Again, I'm repeating myself here. I told you I would. And integrate it, sit with it, take it in, and do not let it define your own self-worth. Their judgment or their criticism does not define your own self-worth. Yes, it can be carrying. Yes, it can, you can consider it, but you don't have to follow it, and it doesn't define who you are. Their judgment does not define who you are, and that's what you're learning into. And when you're so defensive about it and against it, then that indicates that you're insecure within yourself, and that you need the validation that you're doing okay, and that you're good, and that you're excellent, and that you're, and that because you didn't do the inner work, because you didn't process that. So if you do that, and you have displacement, and you do that, then that's how you know you haven't processed it. And so working through it is what it's about. And then accepting your flaws without seeking external validation. That's a very, very big thing here. Okay. On the other hand, you can make yourself very, very, I'm just agreeing with everybody. I'm just diminishing my identity, who I am, my values, my, my wants, my, desires, just for others. So it's this balance, and it's both about the same thing. It's both about being yourself, and it's not just about being yourself being your authentic self on the outside. That's the narcissist quality. Narcissists are not, humble enough to, and willing enough to do that processing within themselves and work through it in themselves and go to those emotions. Like, you're learning, it's okay to feel those emotions. It's okay to go there. It's not just an external appearance of being secure within yourself. It's an internal job. It involves inner work. It's an inside job. That's, what it is. And so, fitting in a way where you can't be rejected by others. I mean, there's two extremes that you can go here. So being mindful of those extremes is very, very important. And being yourself is not about being vain or being narcissistic. It's about being secure inside your own skin, feeling into those emotions, being honest, living from the outside, living from the inside out, going at it from a grounded, secure, sovereign, authentic place is what it's about. So feeling like you'll be rejected. There's this demand for admiration that you may have because you have this insecurity, this demand to be admired. And God forbid if anyone steals the spotlight from you. God forbid. Because there will be people that will be stealing the spotlight. It's about not letting them define who you are. Not letting those people that you compare yourself to, that steal the spotlight from you, make you feel like you are unworthy, that you are not good enough as a human being, that you are you're not talented enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not all these things. Like they're living their life and you're living your life. So focus on your own life and stop this need for the spotlight to be completely on you when you haven't processed all those things, when you haven't felt into all those things. So it's not becoming, don't think that this is becoming, just, agreeing with others and doing all this for others. It's not. Like, being your authentic self is about the inner work and the security within yourself. It's about, being your authentic self is not about projecting and being all narcissistic. Narcissism and authenticity are not the same things. They're different things. Someone who is being narcissistic is not being authentic. So, again, you can't tolerate feedback, you can't tolerate criticism, and you want to maintain your positive self-image, where you can't tolerate anything less than it. You want to hype yourself up, where you can't tolerate anything less than that. Because of this insecurity about yourself that needs healing. And I probably still have this wound. Like, when I get judgments, I do take it very, very personally. But I am learning to open my heart to it and hold space and consider it and know that this person is just saying this and it's them. It's not me. It doesn't define me. So that's what I am learning. Surrounding yourself with compassionate people who care about you, who lift you up, who want the best for you, and who value you for being who you are. It's very, very important. So in terms of relationship, you feel like you can't set boundaries with the other person in a relationship. That you can't advocate for your own needs. That it's unsafe to advocate for your own needs. That's what it can be like. Like, you don't have the freedom to set these boundaries in a relationship. And, be your, true self in a relationship. And not being in relationships where you are truly seen for who you are and value. Like, be with those who see you for who you are. Like, there was this Starman movie I was saying, this kid, had all this family and these conditions and these, rules, and like, you have to follow tradition, you have to do this. And he wanted somebody who seen him for who he was, not who others expected him to be. It's about being authentically present. Being present in your life, being your true self, and being present to live your life as yourself. Asserting yourself, being assertive, not being aggressive. That can come from the insecurity. The aggression can come from the insecurity. Like when you're assertive, you're secure within yourself. You are calm within yourself. You are grounded. Your heart is open. You are in a open, loving yet sovereign place. You are living from the inside out when you are asserting yourself and accepting, so not letting the disapproval and approval of others define your sense of self-worth. Okay, and the need to feel okay is also very, very important. Now, the other person in a relationship, may feel very, very held down by this constant need for validation from them because you don't feel okay. And this person in relationship should help you work through this, help you work through this feeling of insecurity that you may have. Help you work through this deep need for others' validation and for you to be accepted and for others to think that you are okay. Because it's a human thing to need validation from others, and we live in a social media age where, we look for validation outside of ourselves to feel good and worthy about ourselves, likes, views, subscribers. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get caught in, I'm not going to let it get the better of me. No, I do not want to do that. I don't want to become an unhealthy mindset with that. And then, when you seek validation and when this person, is burdened by this, then you kind of, you're not being very kind to yourself by doing this, by seeking external validation, like you're being mean to yourself. And then because of the situation, this person is going to probably reinforce the wound of being too much or not being good enough, not being allowed to take up space. So it's about being kind to yourself, being loving to yourself. And stopping crave the validation from the partner. This is about, okay, we're reaching the end, thank goodness. We're getting to the end. It's about being yourself even when it feels unsafe to do so, like even when conditions feel unsafe, like having the courage to be yourself. Because you're no longer conforming or seeking validation, you're going to find that your relationships are better. Like you're going to get along with others and have better relationships. It's not going to come through agreeing and compromising yourself and being subservient and being, going along to get along. It's about being yourself without being, needing the validation. It's about giving yourself the validation. You don't need anyone else to define you and validate you. You can give it to yourself. And that's what you're learning, to give the validation to yourself. Now, I'm not perfect with all this. I can tell you I'm still, I'm sure that there is still things I need to work on with this because I am a growing individual and I'm only 21 years old. But anyway, because you're no longer conforming or seeking validation from others. That there is less conflict in the relationship, less turmoil, because you have loved yourself enough to where you're not seeking validation, to where the relationship can be better. So helping others reclaim themselves, I was reading that when it comes to career, when you're fully yourself, you'll feel more fulfilled in that also. You can also use creativity as a way to externalize and process your wounds while being processing your wounds while being in your truth and claiming these wounds. You can use this to your advantage by expressing yourself. I do it through music. I express myself through music, and I've done it throughout my whole life. I've always been very, very musical with, singing and creating songs, and you can hear that in my music. My songs are authentic from my heart what I want to express, what I feel in the mood to express. I am putting myself out there unapologetically as my authentic self, and it comes through with the songs and the lyrics that I have with those songs, especially that one song, A Song for You. And I just have to toot my own horn. I just find myself very, very attractive on social media. It's just me being my true self, unapologetically. Me stepping into my progressive moon in Leo and me being my true self. I just find that so beautiful and so attractive. I'm attracted to myself because I'm being my true self. And I'm not afraid to be my true self. That's what I'm attracted to. And so, and your artistic work can probably impact others in a positive way because you can show your struggle and your shame through being yourself through your art. Whatever it is, through paintings and through, or whatever, how you express yourself, through dance. So you're moving away from questioning who you are and why you exist to being your true self. And again, being your true self, being secure in who you are, not needing anyone else's approval to think that you are, good enough, not needing to dominate, not needing to be the center of attention, all that kind of thing. So, yeah. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to be seen for who you are and different authentic individual. So, because everyone's different and everyone is unique and everyone is special. That's what makes life beautiful, is that nobody is the same. There's no normal. Everyone is beautiful as they are. Everyone contributes to the beautiful symphony of life and plays their own instrument to the tapestry of life. They're all beautiful as they are. And you are beautiful as they are. Like if you've ever seen Wrinkle in Time, or you've heard the song Your Scars Too Beautiful, then I would really encourage you to hear that song, because I think that the lyrics would be very, very resonant to you. So I want to leave it at that. I'm going to get off now because this has been very, very long, an hour and a half long. I told you it would be long. I warned you. And sure enough, it is. So, yeah, I'm going to be up very, very late tonight, obviously. Editing this and then, doing other things that I wish to do. So I'm going to get off now. Thank you for tuning into the vastness of Google Podcast. Tune in for, the next episode of, I hope that this brought comfort to you and brought, peace to you and encouraged you and made you feel seen and understood and like you're not alone, because you're not alone. And I hope that I helped you. And I hope that I empowered you through this podcast. And I'm literally doing what I just said. I'm literally helping inspire you to be your authentic self by doing this video about Chiron in the second house, or Chiron in the first house. So I hope I did that. So anyway, bye for now, everybody. And anyway, see you in the next episode.